Juan Min, a retired special operations soldier, now lives a quiet life running a small restaurant. His daughter, Fan, is his pride and joy, the last of his family still alive after years of tragedy. One afternoon, he picks her up from school. She's full of excitement because prom is coming up, and she insists they hurry downtown so she can choose the perfect dress. Wanting to make her happy, Juan drops her near a boutique while he searches for a parking spot. But fate has other plans. As he pulls into a space, his car bumps another vehicle. He and the other driver begin to exchange words. But before they can resolve anything, a thunderous blast tears through the street. A bomb detonates nearby, sending fire, shrapnel, and shattered glass everywhere. Cars ignite, storefronts collapse, and people scream. Stunned and injured, Juan pulls shards of glass from his face and stumbles to his feet. His mind is on one thing only: Fan. He runs toward the destroyed shop, fighting panic, desperate to find her. At the same time, a journalist named Ian receives a chilling phone call. The caller identifies themselves as part of a group calling themselves the Authentic IRA and provides their code word, Phoenix. They claim responsibility for the bombing and threaten more attacks, promising to target banks if the British government refuses to end its illegal occupation of Northern Ireland. Ian rushes to inform his editor, who worries the peace accords could unravel. The entire newsroom is mobilized to uncover this new threat. Ian then heads to the attack site, where paramedics and emergency crews are overwhelmed by the carnage. He lifts his camera to document the devastation, but stops when he notices a heartbreaking scene. Juan, kneeling in the wreckage, clutching his daughter Fan's lifeless body, weeping uncontrollably. Meanwhile, members of the Authentic IRA hide out in a hotel room. The bomber who planted the device enters, eager to know how many lives he took. The group decides to lay low, knowing authorities will now be scrutinizing every Irishman. Elsewhere, Deputy Minister for Northern Ireland, Liam Hennessy, once a high-ranking IRA figure himself, is in bed with his mistress when he learns of the bombing. His wife calls, furious he never came home, but Liam lies and says he had to work late. Heading into his office, Liam receives a call from British Cabinet Minister Kate, who urges him to help identify the perpetrators. Liam seizes the opportunity to negotiate, insisting that in exchange for his cooperation, back at his apartment above his restaurant, Juan sits silently in Fan's room. Surrounded by her belongings, he holds her childhood teddy bear, consumed by grief. His entire family, 3 daughters and his wife, are now gone, leaving him completely alone. 2 Scotland Yard detectives arrive at his restaurant and are directed to his home. They show him Fan's purse, recovered at the scene, but Juan doesn't care about possessions. All he wants is justice. Who planted the bomb and why? The detectives assure him they will bring the perpetrators to justice, but their words offer little comfort. Meanwhile, Liam meets with his former IRA comrades. He's furious that a splinter faction is using IRA codes, phrases only top-ranking members should know. Suspecting a traitor, he orders a full inspection of their weapon stockpiles to uncover leaks. At Scotland Yard, Commander Richard Bromley leads the investigation. He receives news that Juan has appeared at the station for the 5th time that week, begging for answers. Bromley personally meets with him, explaining that investigations take time. Juan offers £20,000 for the name of just one bomber, but Bromley warns him that these men are dangerous. During their conversation, Bromley learns the depth of Juan's sorrow. Fan's death means he has now lost every child and his wife. Moved but stern, Bromley urges him to let the police do their job instead of interfering. Weeks pass, but progress is slow. The police remain empty-handed, while Juan becomes increasingly obsessed. Watching a news broadcast of Liam discussing the IRA, Juan stares at him intently, convinced the politician knows more than he admits. He phones Liam's office and demands names, but Liam denies any involvement and hangs up. Driven beyond reason, Juan begins burning his collection of photos and news clippings, his grief transforming into rage. His friend and business partner Lam urges him to let go, but Juan tells her he has failed his family and hands her ownership of the restaurant. That night, she plans to stay by his side to keep him from doing anything reckless, but Juan slips away. Gathering supplies, he disguises his van as a cleaning service vehicle and takes a ferry to Northern Ireland. His mission is clear: force Liam to reveal the truth. Juan visits Liam's office under the pretense of a small meeting. Liam insists his violent past is behind him and that he now works for peace. Juan presses him, reminding him of his own wife and daughter, but Liam offers only hollow condolences. Before leaving, Juan promises he will change Liam's mind soon. In a restroom nearby, Juan assembles a crude but powerful timed explosive from everyday items. Moments later, a blast shakes the building. Liam is shaken, but when questioned by investigators, he feigns ignorance. Shortly afterward, Juan calls him again, demanding names. Furious, Liam threatens revenge, but Juan hangs up. Realizing the old man won't stop, Liam orders his men to find and deal with him. Juan returns to his rented room, gathers chemicals, and begins recalling his military training, including lessons in chemistry. Soon, Liam's driver discovers a suspicious wire under his car's gas tank, only to find a note taped to it with one word: names. Determined to silence him, Liam's men storm Juan's lodging. But Juan proves far from helpless. He blocks doors, escapes into the attic, and takes on several assailants with lethal precision. Despite his age, his combat skills allow him to fend off multiple attackers. Diving through a window, he escapes once again, humiliating Liam's crew. Enraged, Liam dispatches his nephew Sean, a trained former Royal Irish Regiment soldier, to London to coordinate with Bromley. Sean assures Bromley that they want no part of the bombings, and the two strike a tentative deal to root out the splinter cell. Meanwhile, Juan continues his guerrilla campaign. He sabotages vehicles, plants bombs around Liam's countryside farm, and ambushes guards with traps. Liam's wife, terrified, announces she will leave him, convinced that Juan is targeting her husband alone. Liam begins to panic, realizing he underestimated his opponent. The authentic IRA, however, are planning another strike. But when they discover the secret code word has been altered, suspicion grows. Back at the farm, Juan plants explosives that kill several guards, further tightening the noose. In the chaos, Liam brings in Sean to lead the hunt. Sean arrives, but we learn he's having an affair with Liam's wife, Mary. Bitter that Liam refused to avenge her brother's death years ago, Mary has secretly betrayed Liam, feeding information to McGrath, another former IRA commander. As tensions mount, Juan sustains a gunshot wound during a skirmish with Liam's guards. Alone in the forest, he sears the wound shut and recalls the night he fled China with his family, fighting to protect them but ultimately losing nearly everyone. These memories fuel his determination to finish his mission. Liam eventually confronts McGrath, discovering that he orchestrated the bombings using stolen Semtex from Liam's dumps. McGrath argues the struggle must continue, but Liam, trying to balance his political survival, accuses him of betraying their cause. The confrontation escalates, and Liam extracts names of the bombers, learning with horror that Mary, his own mistress, was complicit. He kills McGrath to silence him. Meanwhile, Juan sneaks into Liam's home, subdues his dog, and confronts him wearing a makeshift bomb vest. Pointing a gun, he demands answers. Liam pleads ignorance but confesses the plan to trap the bombers using the changed code words. Juan gives him 24 hours, then vanishes. Bromley, using surveillance, identifies one bomber by a burn mark on his hand. Police tighten the net. At the same time, Mary plants a bomb inside Ian, the reporter's laptop, proving her betrayal. Sean, now tasked with hunting Juan, tracks him into the woods. The two men clash in a brutal knife fight. Despite Sean's skill, Juan's experience gives him the upper hand. He defeats Sean but spares his life after extracting the bombers' identities. As Bromley's team surrounds the terrorist hideout, Juan infiltrates the building disguised as a gas worker. Inside, he spots the man with the burn mark, the one responsible for his daughter's death. When the group attempts to search him, they discover his weapon and chaos erupts. Juan kills several bombers in close combat using improvised weapons before police storm in. He slips away unseen. Meanwhile, interrogations force Mary to reveal the next target, an airport. Authorities intercept the bomber in time, recovering his laptop before it detonates harmlessly in an empty corridor. To eliminate loose ends, they execute Mary. Kate calls Liam, revealing she knows of his affair and his role in the attacks. Rather than expose him, the government chooses to hold this over him, using his guilt as leverage to keep him in check. Mary doesn't live long enough to face consequences. Sean shoots her dead, following Liam's orders. Finally, Juan confronts Liam one last time. He exposes the truth. Liam orchestrated the attacks and betrayed his own people for political gain. Juan forces him to send a photo of himself with Mary to the press, ensuring the world learns his shame. Then Juan leaves, mission complete. Back at his restaurant, Juan quietly resumes his life. Lam finds him working in silence. Overcome with emotion, she embraces him. And for the first time since Fan's death, Juan allows himself to cry. Bromley receives word that Juan has returned, but chooses not to send a team. After all, the man has already done what the authorities could not: bring justice to those responsible.